It's Messi! It is the cleanest of clean finishes from the best on the planet.
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
Liverpool, the champions of Europe, are top of the world.
The biggest interviews.
That such a great spectacle is ruined by such thuggish behavior.
And all the analysis right here.
He's the one player that has the arrogance to think that he can play in any stadium in the world and any pitch in the world in front of any player in the world and take them on.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
A very good evening, Zimbabwe. ZiFM Sport on a Tuesday, Top Hit Tuesday here on your favorite station, ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station, the station of choice. And thanks to all those who entertained you throughout the day. Now it's time to wrap it up the way that it ought to be with some sports. And the sports team is here to deliver a great show. Mike Mandoda, Alois Munjira, and of course, Chris Gray. Our producer is Sean Tafiri Nika. My name, Barry Manandi. On the home front, Zimbabwe's fate when it comes to hosting international football matches now rests in the hands of the Confederation of African Football after the first instance body completed their local inspections.
In international sports news, we have our staple Formula One report, proudly brought to you by Zimoka, where Valtteri Bottas says he hasn't been resting on his laurels during the coronavirus enforced break and has been preparing to push for a championship challenge this season. And around the world in 60, we start in England, where assistant coach Roddy Estwick says the West Indies are showing signs that they are developing a pace attack that could stand comparison with the great Caribbean sides of the past. In news from Wales, the prospect of a groundbreaking global calendar remains alive after a crucial World Rugby meeting, but rugby chiefs remain at odds over how to schedule the rest of 2020. And we're into the United States, where coach Parik Moratoglu says Serena Williams would love to play at the US Open.
In the beautiful game, what has been dubbed back to win Europe's most successful league, Spain's La Liga is promising a month of non-stop action as play returned this past week to signal a big step in the return to normalcy in the European country, one of the hardest hit by the coronavirus pandemic. In the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich coach Hansi Flick believes a revamped Champions League format could be an advantage for his side, who are still in the hunt for the treble this season. We also have news out of the Premier League, where Newcastle are looking to sign Lazio forward Ciro Immobile at the end of the season. And in Italy's Serie A, there are reports that Napoli winger Irving Lozano was removed from training by boss Gennaro Gattuso after showing a lack of commitment and appeared to be unwilling during sessions.
The Warriors, the Chevrons, the Cheetahs, the Mighty Warriors, and the Sables. From the pool to the track to the field, we are Team Zimbabwe. The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis.
Let's get into it now. Zimbabwe's fate when it comes to hosting international football matches now rests in the hands of the Confederation of African Football, CAF, after the first instance body completed their local inspections. All of the country's major venues, like the National Sports Stadium, Barberfields, Rufaro, and Mandala, were all condemned by CAF inspectors and were banned from hosting international matches. Before coronavirus forced the cancellation of international sport, the Warriors were scheduled to host their 2021 Africa Cup of Nations Group H qualifier against Algeria in South Africa. The country was given a second chance to correct the situation when CAF sent in their inspectors to assess the National Sports Stadium and Barberfields ahead of the commencement of the 2022 Qatar World Cup group stage qualifiers. We saw some pictures about what's been done at the National Sports Stadium as the Minister of Sports, Arts and Recreation, Honourable Kirsty Coventry, took the media around the facility. And there were some cosmetic changes, changes also that made the facilities more fit for purpose to host a game of that nature. Alois, in your view, what would be the verdict if you were part of the first instance body?
You see, the first instance body is coming from ZIFA, and they were what can I say? They were the guilty party as far as CAF was concerned. So they can actually accept the barest of minimums so that the game can go on, so that we can all go quiet and nobody talks. So for them, I think they are just going to say, yes, the National Sports Stadium is ready. But I would have loved to see their own report. Before we hear about CAF, we wanted to hear what the FIB are saying about the venue. What are they saying themselves, their report about their findings? CAF gives us the findings. They listed a whole lot, about hundreds of things that needed to be done. So we would have loved to see FIB coming up with such a list and say, okay, this has been ticked, guys, this is the position with the National Sports Stadium. Now we are inviting CAF to come and re-inspect. I'm not sure about the other stadiums, because from what I heard, Baba Fields has been condemned and they said that it actually needs a completely new structure, completely. I don't know about Mandala Stadium as well. So we don't know what is happening. They should have just given us a full report of all the 4 stadiums that were supposed to be inspected, so that we can also see what CAF can actually come and do. We have only seen what we were shown by the minister. So we don't know if that qualifies. Yes, the changing rooms, yes, the media room, we saw it. So we don't really know if that only, like you said, is cosmetic. So we don't know if that qualifies for the stadium to be certified by CAF. We're not sure.
Now the chairperson of the first instance body, FIB, Piraisha Mabena, said that they were unwilling to divulge any of the information that was contained in the report of the inspection, which is what Alice is crying out for, to say that should have been at least released, possibly embargoed to the media, or to at least to even the entire nation, to say, these are the things we were asked to do, these are the things that we have done, and therefore this summary of a report is what we're sending across to Cairo. That hasn't been done. Mike, to you, is that a vote of confidence in the work that's been done, or is that just simply following protocol that they need to report first to CAF and then they will release the findings to the public?
I think it's all smoke and shadows from ZiFM, acting in the manner that they're used to acting. I think for Piraisha Mabena to come out and say that he's unwilling to release that information just smacks of someone who is not willing to be held accountable to the expectations of CAF and FIFA as far as our facilities are concerned. What's wrong if that information is divulged to the media? What's wrong if the public gets to know how deficient our facilities are and the work that actually needs to be done? I think it's incumbent on that ZIFA First Instances Committee to actually publish the report that's come out of CAF, so that people can hold them accountable even at a local level. It's pointless us inviting the CAF inspectors, the FIFA inspectors back into the country, and no one knows exactly what is the extent of the work or the rectifications that have been made at Baba Fields, at Trufaro, at the National Sports Stadium. We need to know, we demand to know, and Piraisha Mabena should know that ZIFA is not an island, but it's merely an institution that's accountable to the people.
Accountable to people in the sense that it's a public body, Chris, and in being a public body, surely the communications department would realize this and understand that there must be at least a drip-fed process of telling the public and giving the public some sort of confidence, winning the case in the court of public opinion before the CAF inspectors actually touch down at the RG International Airport. And the public will even know whether we've got a good chance, we've got a moderate chance, or we've got no chance of actually getting this CAF approval.
I think ZIFA knows they've done the barest minimum. If we take a look at what they've actually done at the stadiums, especially the National Sports Stadium, in terms of moving furniture in, which is essentially what happened there, aside from the work that was done on the actual pitch, I think they know they've done the barest minimum. And if everything was up to standard, there would be no issue with them actually divulging to the media to say, this is the list of things that was supposed to be done, then this is the list of things that we have done. But the fact that they're refusing to actually points to a problem, first of all, like you mentioned, in terms of their communication with the media. I think ZIFA is getting to a stage where they think they feel they are beyond reproach, because if not, why would someone have the guts to come out and say this publicly, that we will not be disclosing what was actually on the list? So for me, it points to a really big problem in terms of the work that has been done. If they were confident in the work they have done, then they would have simply released the information.
I think Chris makes a fine point, Barry. The fact that Piraisha Mabena is hiding this information, it's a harbinger of the doom that's to come. If they were ready if they were pleased with the work that's been done, if they felt that they had ticked the majority of boxes, believe me, Barry, they would not have lost out on the PR opportunity to say, hey guys, look at us, Superman. We are the real deal. We've got the work done. They would have been crowing in the media, and there are various mouthpieces in the media who would have been crowing the same. So for me, I think it's a harbinger of the doom to come. The fact that they're not confident to release this information shows that very little, or, you know, it's cosmetic. Like you said, I think you chose the right word at the start of the story, Barry. All they've done are just cosmetic touch-ups.
And those cosmetic touch-ups are what will be contained in the report, Alois. But it's important for us to separate issues. Number one, the stadium, let's look at the National Sports Stadium, was initially under the purview of the Ministry of Local Government. And that venue and facility was then handed over to the Ministry of Sport for them to implement the changes. My prayer is that ZIFA was part of the process in trying to align the facilities with the requirements of CAF. Because if ZIFA sat idly by and said the owners of the facility need to tick all these boxes, then as Mike points out, this could be disaster when CAF lands on the comes to the ground.
Yeah, but I don't know what was the constitution of the whole who constituted the whole committee that discussed the refurbishment of the stadium. So I wouldn't know. You see, this is the information that is supposed to be in the public domain. The Zimbabwe Football Association have got a website. What does the website do? Website is for communication. We should also be seeing step by step on the website. I don't have to ask anyone. I just have to go on the ZIFA website and see the process of the restructuring or refurbishment of the stadium. I'm supposed to see it day by day. This is the content that they need. They also get a little bit of cash for that, because we will have eyeballs on the website and advertisers, they want that, and it's a whole lot of things that they can do. But for information, we are supposed to just get it from there. So we don't know. Like we've said, Barry, this is our stadium. This is not a CAF stadium. This is a Zimbabwe stadium. So we don't want good things. We don't want nice things. We can also have nice things and be proud of the National Sports Stadium as our stadium.
Well, we remain positive until the CAF inspectors land on the ground. However, the CAF inspectors will only lift their fingers, pack their bags, and jump onto an aeroplane if the report that is sent by the first instance body is sufficient for them to come and do an in-person inspection of the venues. That's what remains to happen, because at least ZIFA has met the deadline to send the report across, and hopefully CAF will look upon it with very good eyes.
Hi, my name is Runi Shamba, Mytoria's Super Striker. You're listening to ZiFM Sports.
All right, let's keep you updated with the rest of your local sports news, starting with rugby, where rising teen star Vernon Matongo has won a full rugby scholarship at Stellenbosch University, where he'll be studying towards a bachelor's degree in accounting science. Matongo is widely regarded as one of the best rising talents in the game in Zimbabwe. He first made an impact as a mere 12-year-old prop in the 2014 Old Mutual Zimbabwe Under-13 Craven Week side. His profile has been growing, and in 2018, together with teammate Chulumanco Range Mufakadolo, he was selected for the South Africa Rugby Union Elite Player Development Rugby Camp 2 years ago. Netball news: Platinum Queens netball team captain Nomagugu Makalima has advised netball players to prioritize education to have something to fall back on once they call time on their playing careers. The 23-year-old Makalima, who started her club netball career with Free Stars in Bulawayo, said it was unavoidable that their time on court will come to an end, and as such, players need to have something to turn to once that time comes. She said players need to avoid situations whereby they end up blaming themselves for choosing to play netball. We'll wrap it up with some horse racing news. In-form runner Coachella once again proved he's one to beat after he romped to victory in the 1,100 meters Pinnacle Plate 105 at Borodale Park this past weekend. Horse racing returned to action last week. The Bridget Seidel yard runner came into the race carrying 62 kgs and had Norbert Takawira on the irons as they beat a strong field. Coming into the race, the 6-year-old Alado gelding, had won 8 races from 1,000 meters to 1,260 meters, including the 2017 HRIB Gold Cup.
Hi, this is Mike Madod, and you can catch me and the team for all the latest breaking news out of the world of sport, local as well as international, on your favorite station, my station, your station, ZiFM. We are Z-Team on ZiFM Sport.
Z. International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play. From sunny Melbourne to the streets of Monaco, the deserts of Bahrain to the jungles of Brazil, get up to speed on the Formula One Report. The Formula One Report is proudly brought to you by Zimoco, the home of F1 brands Mercedes-Benz and Alfa Romeo in Zimbabwe. Zimoco, specialized service for special brands.
The Formula One Report proudly brought to you by Zimoco, and today we're looking at the Mitsubishi range. More specifically, the all-new Mitsubishi Triton is as tough as they come. For almost 40 years, Mitsubishi pickups have helped Zimbabweans get the hard jobs done. Engineered to deliver power, performance, safety, towing, and the latest technology, this is one tough pickup that nothing can frighten. At the core of the all-new Triton is a powerful, refined, and super responsive 2.4-litre MyVec turbo diesel engine with Mitsubishi's unique Super Select 2 four-wheel drive system.
Now, peak power is at 133 kilowatts at 3,500 RPM, while torque is an impressive 430 Newton meters at 2,500 RPM in both the automatic and manual transmission. The lightweight engine achieves low fuel consumption with the option of full-time four-wheel drive, high and low range with center diff lock and selectable two-wheel drive. The Super Select 2 four-wheel drive system on the Mitsubishi Triton will give you more control in bad weather or off-road on the toughest of terrains. Style meets toughness. The completely redesigned Triton is a real head-turner.
It certainly is, because not only does the exterior design exude powerful style, it also has all the interior comfort and convenience, gadgets such as reversing camera, smartphone integration with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, dusk sensing headlamps, leather seats, USB charging ports in the front and rear, multifunction steering wheel, and much, much more. Come and test drive the all-new Mitsubishi Triton at our Borrowdale showroom, Sam Levy's Village. Tomorrow, not today, because we're shut. This double cab really does give its competitors a run for their money. And we guarantee that you will be pleasantly surprised with this vehicle's competitive price and awesome new features. We have lots of stock, so hurry and don't miss out on this awesome double cab. The all-new Mitsubishi Triton comes with a 3 years or 100,000 kilometers warranty, first free service at 10,000 kilometers, and full parts and service backup from Zimoco at an affordable price. Stay tuned. We'll be talking so much more.
Z.
All right, let's get into the Formula One proper. Valtteri Bottas says he hasn't been resting on his laurels during the coronavirus enforced break and has been preparing to push for a championship challenge this season. The Finn had made his intentions clear that the World Championship is his target in 2020 as he attempts to end the dominance of Mercedes teammate Lewis Hamilton. And the extended break Formula One has been on has done wonders for Bottas, it seems. Now, he's quoted as saying by Sky Sports, 3 or 4 weeks ago, I had a fitness test that I normally do once or twice a year, and it was my best ever. As a driver, you don't get that many months normally to focus on your fitness. It's normally just a winter break, but now it's been an extended break, and I was really systematic on the training, and it was amazing to see the results and how good you feel. He's feeling good, Chris. His confidence, it's showing, it's telling, of course, in the interviews that he's giving, and he feels that he can really give it a go this season.
Absolutely, and it's going to be great to see him giving it a go this season if he is making these really great public statements. He's sounding really confident, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out with Lewis Hamilton, and also how things play out in terms of Mercedes' future and how they select who they'll be going with going forward.
So often people forget that Formula One actually requires that you be fit. it actually requires that you have some physical conditioning about you, because people just imagine it to be like driving a car, a really fast car. So the way that you step into your car when you're heading to work or heading wherever you're going, that's how people imagine it. But it takes a physical toll on your body, because you are having to operate, first of all, in a confined space. Number two, you have to deal with the heat. Number three, the concentration levels as well that are required are, top. You have to be just like a fighter jet pilot when you're operating a Formula One car.
You absolutely need to. And that's largely because of the G-forces that you're going through. They say a Formula One driver...
Look at you, Barry, now. G-force. Wow, I love it. Trying to sound intelligent. Come on, Barry.
You know what, guys? Listen, we do this radio show every day. We might as well do it right? So those G-forces, the pressure that they put your body under, they say that a Formula One driver can lose as much as 2 kgs, some even 4 kgs in a single race, and depending on the heat, obviously, and all sorts. So that pressure that you're putting your body under, that exertion that you're putting your body under, if you're not fit, it can actually take a toll and can even go to the extent of killing you. So staying fit is an important aspect of being a Formula One driver, so that you're able to sustain it, your lungs are able to go through it, that your fat, your muscle to fat ratio is managed well. So consequently, these guys are proper sportsmen. It's not just driving a car sitting in a seat. How hard can that be? Well, it's very, very hard.
Yeah, very, very hard. Alois, for Formula One this season, especially after the disruptions caused by the coronavirus pandemic, if Red Bull or Ferrari can't challenge and give us something of a title race, as it were, in Formula One, it's important that Valtteri Bottas challenges Lewis Hamilton, so that there's a bit of excitement in the Formula One season.
Yeah, exactly, Mike. You know me and competition. I love competition. I don't like it when one winner is winning for many years. So probably that's what we will need. I'm happy that he was telling us how well he was training. During the coronavirus extended break, probably breaking the lockdown rules along the way as well. But it's good. It's good that he was doing it. So that we can actually get that. Remember, towards the end of last season, we were actually asking, waiting for, hoping that Mercedes will actually unlock him, let him just race with Lewis Hamilton, so that we just wanna have competition, so that they can stop being a team game and just race against each other. I hope that they will do that this time around. Probably at the beginning of the season, they might just do it. I hope they do it, that they don't have the number one. Let them just compete, and the number one comes out from ability, not from teamwork. That's what I prefer. So hopefully that they will do that, and I'm happy that he was training so hard that he can actually challenge Lewis Hamilton. We want to see him challenging Lewis Hamilton. At the end of the day, we want competition. We want another winner, whether it's coming from Mercedes. Again, we don't care about that. We want another driver coming out out of the shadow of Lewis Hamilton and taking him on, even if it means that he's a teammate. Let it be. I'll be happy with that.
Absolutely. Competition is what we want to see in Formula One in season 2020. It's going to be a shortened season, but would love it to be exciting. Well, if competition is what you want, so competition is not what you get when it comes to double cabs, because the all-new Mitsubishi Triton drives all alone. And if you're interested in test driving one, please nip over to Zimoko at our Sem Levy Village Workshop, and you'll be able, for showroom, and you'll be able to drive one of those. But Barry, the good news doesn't stop there.
It doesn't stop there, because you mentioned workshop, and I know you wanted to jump to workshop news, because we know winter is upon us, and would like to remind all of our Mercedes-Benz, Jeep, Mitsubishi, Haval and GWM customers to bring in your vehicles to either our Borrowdale Service Centre in Sam Levy's Village or the Douglas Road Workshops in Southerton for winter season operational checks to make sure that your vehicle is not affected by the lower temperatures this winter. Also, don't forget that Zimoko have some great deals on the service of your older model Mercedes-Benz vehicles, because at Zimoko we care about all our brands of vehicles regardless of how old they are. Did you know that if you look after and maintain a Mercedes-Benz vehicle properly, it can last you a lifetime?
Is that the reason why we see so many of these classic Mercedes-Benz still around, Daz?
Absolutely. Have you seen the condition of these things? They look phenomenal. Listen, Mercedes-Benz promises performance and power, and that performance lasts a lifetime.
Okay, so check out our Zimoco Facebook or Instagram pages for details on which models and year of manufacture are on special. We have a special offer on the minor service of these models starting from $285. This service includes air filter, oils, labor, and consumables. Price may vary slightly on engine size. Now, if you're not sure whether your vehicle qualifies for this special offer, please call one of our service advisors on 0242. That's, of course, Harare code 0242, number 754303 up to 9, 754303 up to 9 with your engine or chassis number, and they'll be able to quote you on your vehicle service. Don't go elsewhere and cut corners. Let Zimoco keep your Mercedes-Benz running the way the manufacturer is intended, and let Zimoco keep your Mercedes-Benz on the road for your lifetime.
The Formula One Report is proudly brought to you by Zimoco, the home of F1 brands Mercedes-Benz and Alfa Romeo in Zimbabwe. Zimoco, specialized service for special brands.
Around the world in 60 seconds. International sports news.
We took off in England, where assistant coach Roddy Estwick says that West Indies are showing signs that they're developing a pace attack that could stand in comparison with the great Caribbean side of the past. The West Indies were world cricket's dominant team from the mid-1970s to the 1990s, when they could call on a succession of superb fast bowlers, including Michael Holding, Malcolm Marshall, Curtly Ambrose, and Courtney Walsh. Their quicks also played a key role when the West Indies beat England 2-1 in the Caribbean last year. Kemar Roach, Shannon Gabriel, Alzari Joseph, and captain Jason Holder are all in the Caribbean tour party for the Test series in England. In news from Wales, the prospect of a groundbreaking global calendar remains alive after a crucial World Rugby meeting, but rugby chiefs remain at odds over how to schedule the rest of 2020. Key figures from across the global game discussed the sport's short and long-term future on a video call yesterday. While there was agreement on the need for a revamped schedule in the future, clubs and unions have yet to finalize how the remainder of the current year will look following the coronavirus pandemic. More talks will take place as a matter of urgency, with a World Rugby Council meeting scheduled for the end of June. And we touch down in the United States, where coach Patrick Moratoglu says Serena Williams would love to play at the US Open. Williams had an injury-stricken 2019, but recovered to reach the final of last year's tournament in New York. The 2020 US Open is due to start on the 31st of August, with strict restrictions in place because of coronavirus. The former world number 1 and 6-time US Open champion, who went out of the Australian Open in the third round in January, started the year by winning the Auckland Open, her first singles title since becoming a mother in September 2017.
Hi, I'm Clemens Matau, chicken in midfielder. You're listening to ZiFM Sports.
The big leagues, the big teams, the big players. The beautiful game on ZiFM Sport. The league that makes football oh so beautiful. Where artistry and strokes of genius are the order of any day. Where the game is played with a smile and the little master creates his magic.
It's Lionel Messi!
All the news from the Spanish La Liga on ZiFM Sport.
The goal the world wants it!
The second half of the show is always the beautiful game, and we're kicking off in Spain, where in what has been dubbed back to win, Europe's most successful league, Spain's La Liga, is promising a month of non-stop action as play returned this past week to signal a big step in the return to normalcy in the European country, one of the hardest hit by the coronavirus pandemic. In a virtual presentation to some of Southern Africa's top sports journalists, La Liga's Marcos Pellegrin declared matches will look and sound different.
Matches without fans in the stands is not the same, because football without fans is nothing at the end. So given the thing that we cannot have fans in the stands, we've been thinking how to improve the broadcasting feeling and experience. So we created virtual stands that it creates images of seated fans wearing the colors of the home club. But also we are able to send the right messages to the population, like stay home, stay safe, etc. Also, one very cool innovation that I was really surprised is the through the audio library of EA Sports FIFA video game, which is from real stadiums, has been used and digitally adapted, so it's implemented in real time. So I have experienced some of the leagues that are trying it, that there were raw video, empty stadiums, and La Liga, and I think obviously it's not the same, but in my humble opinion, it improves the experience of the fan at home quite a little. And also we changed some angles of the cameras, and we install new ones, for example, in the tunnel.
And of course, guys, we saw the return of La Liga last week with that derby between Sevilla and Real Betis. Sevilla conquering in that game 2-0. Brilliant matches that we've seen over the last few days. And the feast of football, Barry, is continuing in Spain. And it looks like they're going to have a game on every night.
They will have a game on every night. They've had games on every single night. And I like what Marcus Pellegrin says, and says matches will look and sound different. And the good thing is that that's a statement that you can weigh up against what the product is that came out. And in truth, they've released a product that's something that we haven't seen. It's totally different, because the graphics in the stands where they're putting virtual fans in there, and then the halftime graphics where each team is virtually getting their sponsors are getting bang for their buck, because club sponsors are then getting illuminated on the back of the facing stands, and we are getting more of an experience, more so than just watching football. We all just wanted football back, but having those virtual sounds, the virtual noises, and then having the video and digital output as well, matching it, I think La Liga has done fantastically well.
Chris, you always have your finger on the pulse of social media. Just taking a look at maybe how people have responded to the innovation coming out of La Liga in terms of the virtual fans that we've seen, the graphics that we've seen, as well as the virtual audio, which they've tried to create the atmosphere that would normally be in a stadium. How have you taken to that, and how are people receiving it on social media?
It's been a really good response. I think that focus on La Liga for taking the entertainment aspect of the game to say, you know what, we want to bring out a product that looks almost the same as looks and feels almost the same as the real thing. I think for any sports fan who's been deprived of sport for a very long time, it's been really well received across social media. And I think it's also cool to see how they've used particular hashtags in coming back this season. And that's also been a good way, I think, to see that response. There's the hashtag La Liga bounces back, and that's a full-on campaign that they're doing with Puma. And it's really cool to see how they've incorporated so much into that full experience for a fan that goes beyond just that, the 90 minutes. And so what they've done is they've extended it across social media. They're going to have international sports stars in addition to the African Puma ambassadors like Zakele Lepasa, Lebogang Mabue, Themba Zwane, just to name a few. And what they've really done here is take football to the fans, as it were.
Yeah, taking football to the fans, and one of the hashtags they're also using is back to win. Alois, what have you made of the football action so far? You know, in the last 5 or so days of La Liga action. Yesterday we saw matches, yesterday evening, a couple of matches played. We're expecting another couple of matches to be played this evening. What have you made in terms of the quality of the action, as well as the level of intensity in the teams that have been playing?
Yeah, Mike, this is actually quite good. You know, for us, we've been waiting for football to return, and La Liga came back in style. You know, like very put it very well. You know, it shows that there were people that were thinking, they sat and were thinking throughout the coronavirus pandemic, and there are other people that are just waiting for Corona to go so that we can go back to normal. You know, like we have people that actually have gone innovative. You know, they are so innovative, and they are giving us a new product altogether. Even if we go back to normal, they are going to use what they have brought now going forward, they are going to incorporate it, and it's going to be much nicer. Football is going to, it's now like a showbiz, proper showbiz. It's like a movie, it's like a movie, but with the players, they are the actors, and you're like watching a movie, and it's rolling down well, and I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. Now it's a double dose. Like I'm watching a movie at the same time I'm watching football, and the sponsors are not crying. The partners of the corporate world, the corporate partners are not crying because they are getting their value for money. No one is crying. Life goes on, and the fans also, they're not crying. They're getting football in their homes and they're watching it. So for me, I think this is a show of people that are innovative, that don't sit on their brains. They think whenever there is a problem, you work around the problem and still thrive. That's what they have done. I hope that all over the world and in other countries, like we know, we are going to have the same kind of innovations when we restart our own leagues.
Right, now let's also hear from former Bafana defender and Recreativo Huelva player Nassif Morris on the return of La Liga. And of course, Nassif is a player that Alois Bunjira would have rubbed shoulders with during his time in Muzansi.
Okay, well, firstly, it's good, that we have some action going on in the world now because of this pandemic, because it actually affected the whole world, and it was sad, especially for people like us who's been involved in football for most of our lives, and I think our lives revolve around football. That's obviously me specifically as well, and it's actually a good thing that we came to a point where things is actually, the ball is starting to roll again now, and we see some action happening. Well, obviously, looking at the results and things like that, it's obviously it still shows that things is I think back to the way it was before. Because if you look at the log positioning and the two top teams on top, they both got results on the weekend, and they keeping that gap between the other parties who's trying to catch up to them. But it just shows that everybody has been working during this lockdown and the period that we couldn't do anything, that the players was all training on their own, and the teams made sure that once they got back to training as a squad, that they did everything possibly to get the players back into the top performance level.
That's former Bafana defender Nassif Morris, who had an illustrious career for Recreativa Huelva out in La Liga, famously making his debut versus Real Betis and then scoring a winning goal that season versus Osasuna. It just wasn't a winning goal, it was a goal that actually saved Recreativo from relegation. So Barry, he's come in there, of course, adding his thoughts and his sentiments on the return to action in Spain.
Yeah, and his thoughts and sentiments obviously echoing exactly what we've been saying on the show here, that in truth, La Liga, La Liga has always been a very technical, tactical league, and in seeing it now in all its splendor and all its glory at the return after the coronavirus, it's brilliant to watch. I'll just give you an example of last night, that second match last night where Real Betis took on Granada. Real Betis goes ahead in the 86th minute, I think it was, and the match still ends 2-2 because it was never over until it is over. So that sort of entertainment value, apart from just, because you can put lipstick on a pig and then proclaim that it's beautiful, but it's not going to work. But when you then put the lipstick on something that is already as beautiful as La Liga and as entertaining as La Liga, it's that much better.
Absolutely. And of course, we'll be giving you the results from last night, those two matches played, as well as the fixtures of the three matches that are on tonight a bit later. But before we get there, let's once again hear from Marcos Pellegrin as he talked about some of the health protocols that have been put in place in La Liga, just to make sure that they safeguard the players as well as everyone who's involved on match day in the Spanish league.
The most important thing was the safety and healthiness of all the players, their families, and the Spanish society as a whole. So we understood that we had to follow the needed procedures in order to make sure that that was guaranteed. So we started to work on preparation for training, then training alone, training in groups, collective training, and we're looking at the end of the season, the 19th of July. So every phase has different steps and protocols that need to be observed. Stage 1, everyone was staying home. They need to know that they got the protocol established and they were monitored. We started to test the players in order to analyze and understand who was infected, who was already after the virus, etc. Stage 2, it was individual training sessions at the facilities of the club, but they had timetables and schedules where they were able to go to the facilities of the club.
And one of the key things here, Chris, is the fact that La Liga are pulling out all the stops to make sure that safety is given paramount importance in the return of football here, making sure that no one's health is going to be compromised by the return to action.
Absolutely, and we saw it in the way that they started the training. So it started, they started preparing them for the return, and they included a phased approach. So there were stages in which they would obviously develop the fitness of the players, but also and essentially get them ready and match fit. But it was in a four-phased approach, and what they did was they were in line with the Spanish health protocols, and so that was testing, single training, then group sessions, and then after obviously the collectives. So they've done a good job in terms of making sure that at every stage the players are protected, and so are the other individuals that obviously make up the full cohort of a team.
All right, let's go to the action. La Liga results from last night. Levante and Sevilla playing out a 1-1 draw. Sucker punch from Levante versus Sevilla. Sevilla conceding a late own goal for a share of the spoils. And then in that 4-goal thriller that Barry did mention a bit earlier, Real Betis, they fell behind and then scored 2 goals to lead. They thought they had all 3 points, but they were to be denied at the death by a plucky Granada side for that match to end 2-2. Struggles for Real Betis, who have grabbed just 1 point from the 6 on offer since the return of football. In tonight's action, it's Getafe versus Espanyol. Villarreal will take on Mallorca. Mallorca fighting to survive. And then Barcelona will look to create something of a buffer between them and chasing Real Madrid when they host Leganes at the Camp Nou. Alois, Barcelona playing first before Real Madrid with another chance to add pressure to the chasers from the capital.
Yeah, it's going to be pressure because, you know, when you look at Leganes, you look at Barcelona, you would think that Barcelona are going to cruise past Leganes, and that is pressure for Real Madrid. And we spoke about it that, you know what, Barcelona look more potent, you know, with everybody back fit, they look more potent than Real Madrid, who tend to rely on only one goal scorer. We're just hoping that other players will come into play and contribute to the goals for Real Madrid. But Barcelona look like they are the real deal. At full strength, they are unstoppable for me in La Liga. Then that puts pressure on Real Madrid, because when they go ahead, it's very difficult to catch up with Barcelona. We have seen it happening. It's not easy to play catch up with them. Rather, you go ahead and make them try to catch you up. Once they go ahead, it's very difficult. So that's real pressure for Real Madrid. And let's wait and see. I'm a Real Madrid fan. I would like to see Barcelona falter, but the chances, I don't see many chances of them doing that.
Okay, if you want to watch those matches, the first 2 matches, Getafe versus Espanyol, as well as Villarreal and Mallorca, kick off at 7:30 this evening, Central African time, and Barcelona Leganes will be kicking off at 10 p.m.
Your Bundesliga fixtures tonight: Borussia Mönchengladbach takes on Wolfsburg. Union Berlin hosts Paderborn, while Freiburg take on Hertha Berlin. The champions-elect, the defending champions too, Bayern Munich, they travel to troubled Werder Bremen, and Bayern Munich coach Hansi Flick believes a revamped Champions League format could be an advantage for his side, who are still in the hunt for the treble this season. The Bavarian Giants are just 1 win from an 8th straight Bundesliga title, and Flick can win the German league in his first season if they beat Werder Bremen away tonight. Bayern could repeat their 2013 treble, having also reached the German Cup final when they face Bayer Leverkusen in Berlin on the 4th of July. And they are also well placed in Europe to progress. So Hansi Flick doing a phenomenal job, and his team has, yes, lots of ability, Alois, but the one thing that this Bayern Munich team under Hansi Flick has is goals.
Yeah, they do score goals. You know, that's what I like about it, because remember I spoke about it that when they have the ball, they are fluid. That's one thing that I like about Bayern Munich. They are like a machine. They play together. You can see the movement of that ball. You just watch Bayern Munich. Your head will be just turning around, following the ball, because no one really runs with the ball. You know, they pass it around and they create a lot of chances. And then, oh my God, they've got a scoring machine. They've got Lewandowski, and then when it comes, yes, and then Thomas Müller is not bad as well at scoring, and they've got wide players that also come in. They've got also supporting players that come in with a few goals here and there. So they are a very good scoring team, and their defending might not be as solid, but they compensate that by going forward. When they go forward, they concentrate, they focus, they spend more time attacking you than you spend time attacking them.
The best in class in terms of giving assists, Thomas Müller, in the top 5 leagues of Europe. One of the best goal scorers, Robert Lewandowski, in Bayern Munich's lineup. And that's not the sort of team you want to face if you're a Werder Bremen, Mike, that's fighting for its life. And in truth, this is one of the legacy clubs in Germany. One would not want to see it go down, but you've got to think to yourself, it's going to be a tough task tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough task tonight versus Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich want to wrap up the Bundesliga title as quickly as possible, especially with UEFA announcing plans that they intend to finish off the Champions League in Portugal in a single tournament format. So they want to keep their players fresh, rested for that tournament, because they're going to give the Champions League a real go. They have a fantastic opportunity this season, and they're going to give it a stab.
A couple of quick updates from England and Italy. Newcastle are looking to sign Lazio forward Ciro Immobile at the end of the season. As per La Gazzetta dello Sport, the Magpies have put an offer of around 55 million euros on the table for the striker. Furthermore, they're willing to offer the player wages of around 8 million euros per season for 5 years. That's a massive offer, and it'll be interesting to see if Immobile's head gets turned in the coming weeks. Napoli winger Hirving Lozano was removed from training by boss Gennaro Gattuso after showing a lack of commitment and appeared to be unwilling during sessions, according to reports in Italy. The Mexican has struggled to find any sort of form since making the move from PSV last season and has fallen out of favor since Gattuso's arrival in December. And it now appears that Lozano's time at the Napolitano club could be coming to an end after showing a lack of effort during training, according to Corriere dello Sport.
That's us for today. We'll catch you tomorrow for a Wacky Wednesday show. Don't miss it. May God richly bless you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Manande, out.
And it's Messi! It is the cleanest of clean finishes from the best on the planet.
The biggest sports stories.
Liverpool, the champions of Europe, are top of the world.
The biggest interviews.
That such a great spectacle is ruined by such thuggish behavior.
And all the analysis right here.
He's the one player that has the arrogance to think that he can play in any stadium in the world and any pitch in the world in front of any player in the world and take them on.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.